This evening, first, President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali strengthens security ties with the United States at the CARICOM summit while calling for regional unity amid sovereignty concerns. Plus, a 14-year-old mother's sudden death on the Essequibo Coast sparks national concern, and a police probe into the circumstances surrounding her pregnancy. Also, the president defends Guyana's payment system for Cuban medical workers, insisting it is lawful and transparent despite international scrutiny. Meanwhile, a new 5-year transformation plan for the Guyana Police Force promises expanded technology, predictive policing, and stronger public safety. And in the region, Mexico sends aid to Cuba as fuel tensions deepen under renewed U.S. pressure. Those stories and more coming up. Stay with us. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for February 26, 2026. I'm Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali has reaffirmed Ghana's commitment to deepening security cooperation with the United States while stressing the importance of regional unity at the Caribbean Community Heads of Government meeting in St. Kitts and Nevis. Speaking to reporters on the sidelines of the summit on Wednesday, President Ali described his recent discussions with United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio as very positive, noting alignment between U.S. and CARICOM priorities on security, development, and cooperation on shared challenges.
Very positive and a space in which there were some very deliberate discussions. It was very focused discussions, and the discussions, of course, I think lead to a better understanding of the U.S. positions and the CARICOM position. And what we found was that there was great alignment.
Ghana has been invited, along with Trinidad and Tobago, to participate in a high-level regional security meeting convened by U.S. President Donald Trump in Miami on March 7. An engagement, President Ali said, reflects growing bilateral cooperation on security matters. The Guyanese leader also welcomed expressions of regional solidarity, citing support from Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar, who reaffirmed her readiness to stand with Ghana amid ongoing concerns over threats to sovereignty. President Ali emphasized that CARICOM leaders have a shared responsibility to support one another when territorial integrity is at stake. On broader cooperation, President Ali highlighted Ghana's strong ties with the United States and underscored the potential for expanded collaboration in security, economic resilience, and development. He also reiterated the importance of reducing trade barriers within the region to boost integration and economic growth. President Ali praised CARICOM's engagement on key regional issues and reiterated Ghana's continued commitment to advancing cooperation in security, energy, and economic resilience. On a different note, the death of a 14-year-old girl from Suriname Essequibo Coast who had recently given birth to a baby, now just 1 month old, has triggered widespread concerns and prompted a police investigation into the circumstances surrounding her pregnancy and death. Aline Pritam died sometime between the eve of February 22nd and the early hours of February 23rd at her home. According to police in Regional Division 2, she was last seen alive on Sunday evening. Early Monday morning, family members discovered her unresponsive and rushed her to the Saudi Public Hospital, where she was pronounced dead on arrival. A post-mortem examination conducted earlier today at the Saudi Public Hospital mortuary by government pathologist Dr. Nihal Singh determined the cause of death to be heart failure and anemia. Police reported that no marks of violence were found on her body. Her remains were later handed over to relatives for burial. While medical findings point to natural causes, the case has sparked public debate, particularly regarding the circumstances under which a 14-year-old became pregnant. Under Ghana's law, sexual activity involving a minor may constitute a criminal offense. Police have stated that investigations are ongoing. As the nation awaits clarity and accountability in the case that has deeply unsettled the Essequibo Coast, it looks to authorities to address any offenses that may arise from the matter. In other news, as questions mount internationally over the treatment of Cuban medical workers, President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali is standing firm, declaring that Ghana's direct payment system for Cuban doctors and nurses is lawful, transparent, and fully compliant with national labor standards. Speaking to reporters on the sidelines of the 50th regular meeting of the Conference of CARICOM Heads of Government in Bessitier, St. Kitts and Nevis, President Ali said the government ensures Cuban medical professionals are compensated under the same conditions as other workers in Guyana. Guyana recently ended its long-standing bilateral agreement with Cuba, but has continued engaging Cuban healthcare workers independently.
The health sector in the region has challenges. We need workers. And if the Cuba workforce can give us nurses and doctors, and we hire those nurses and doctors in accordance with our local labor laws and international labor regulations, and we ensure that they're paid within the laws of our country and under the same conditions as any other worker is paid, that is, they receive their money directly, then I think you meet all the international criteria.
According to the government, Cuban doctors and nurses are now entering Ghana independently and applying for employment outside of a formal government-to-government program. Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, has also rejected suggestions that the move was influenced by U.S. pressure, noting that no specific reason was given for ending the previous agreement. The president emphasized that the country's approach is both lawful and necessary to address regional healthcare needs. Stick around when we return. Guyana Police Force rolls out new 5-year strategy focused on technology and innovation, and Farmers Connect app launched to modernize the agriculture sector.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. The Guyana Police Force will introduce a new strategic framework for 2027-2031 aimed at strengthening policing services, law enforcement, and public safety nationwide. Commissioner of Police Clifton Hicken announced on Wednesday at the opening of the Annual Inspectors Conference 2026, outlining a transformation plan built on innovation, technology, and adaptability under the theme Modern Policing for a Modern Nation. Backed by a $32.6 billion allocation in the 2026 national budget, the force plans to expand technology-driven services, including broader e-ticketing and a points-based system, electronic case management and e-filing, digitized police records, and citizen reporting platforms. Plans also include predictive policing using data analysis and artificial intelligence, biometric border security systems, upgraded dispatch networks, and digital firearms licensing. The commissioner said police examinations and promotion tests will be digitized in partnership with the Ghana Digital School, while forensic capabilities will be strengthened through an internationally recognized laboratory. Highlighting progress under the 2022-2026 strategy, Hicken reported a 29% reduction in road accidents, following the installation of speed cameras and expansion of e-ticketing alongside a 27% decline in serious crimes. He urged inspectors to play a central role in implementing the new strategy and building public trust. Moving on, farmers across Ghana can now access real-time agriculture information and extension services through the newly launched Farmers Connect application, a digital platform designed to modernize the sector and improve productivity. The app, unveiled on Wednesday by the Ministry of Agriculture, allows farmers to access market prices, weather forecasts, and pest and disease alerts, while also assessing soil compatibility to guide crop selection. It also features AI-assisted crop diagnostics, enabling users to identify plant disease and receive treatment recommendations instantly. In addition, the platform connects farmers directly with buyers, agro-processors, and exporters, improving market access and reducing inefficiencies within the agricultural value chain. Farmers can also report flooding and field challenges and receive updates on training programs and other support services. Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa said the initiative forms part of the government's broader vision to digitally transform the sector and position Ghana as a global leader in food production and innovation.
We are now bridging policies with production. We can have all the best policies in the country, but if we don't implement it and we don't have it among the farmers so that they can buy into it, then those policies will become useless. So today, we are now bridging the policy with production in the agriculture sector.
Minister within the Ministry of Agriculture, Vikash Ramkissoon, added that the platform reflects a commitment to people-centered policies that help farmers increase production and strengthen national food security. Farmers have welcomed the initiative, describing it as a timely and practical tool to enhance decision-making and connectivity within the industry. Don't go away after the break. Cartel violence in Mexico fuels doubt over safety at 2026 FIFA World Cup, and Europe's fortress. Migrants risk all at Africa's only land border with EU.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world.
Good evening, I'm Dominic Gittins. Tonight, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio pledges renewed agreement with CARICOM leaders on security, energy, and growth at the CARICOM summit. Mexico sent humanitarian aid to Cuba amid pressure on Caracas. Concerns rise over safety at the World Cup in Mexico, and migrants risk perilous journeys into Spain. We begin in the Caribbean. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio told Caribbean leaders at the CARICOM summit in St. Kitts that Washington is renewing its focus on the region, citing shared priorities in security, energy, and economic growth. Rubio highlighted cooperation against transnational crime, developments in Venezuela, and expanded investment ties, pledging deeper engagement and calling Caribbean stability and prosperity vital to U.S. national interests. 2 Mexican naval vessels have sailed for Cuba with powdered milk, beans, and other non-perishable as Mexico emerges as Havana's most reliable partner amid a U.S. bid to block crude oil. Al Jazeera's Julia Galliano reports.
2 Navy vessels carrying humanitarian aid to Cuba set sail from Mexico. The shipments are loaded with powdered milk, beans, and other non-perishable goods. A month into the White House campaign to force regime change by blocking crude oil from reaching the island, Mexico is emerging as Cuba's most reliable partner. The Trump administration is threatening to impose tariffs on anyone who supplies Cuba with fuel. But President Claudia Sheinbaum says her government is determined to stop a worsening humanitarian crisis on the island. Her government has halted oil shipments, but she says food and medical aid will continue, calling it a humanitarian obligation.
Let me make this clear. We do not agree with the imposition of tariffs on countries selling oil to Cuba, but we will continue helping the Cuban people in other ways.
She's even calling on the Mexican population to join the effort. Across the country, Mexicans have been dropping off food and other basic supplies at collection points.
Es simbólico, es importante.
Mexico is showing its solidarity, but we must not fool ourselves. It's a symbolic act and doesn't help the real problem on the island and its long-term solution.
The aid is also helping Mexico's president placate factions within her own party, ideologically aligned with Havana and uneasy about concessions she's made to Washington. Mexico and Cuba's ties date back centuries. In fact, it was from here, the state of Veracruz, that in 1956, a boat carrying Fidel Castro and Che Guevara, then young aspiring revolutionaries, left for Cuba in what marked the beginning of the Cuban Revolution. Mexico has played a balancing act since the revolution, maintaining close ties to Cuba without angering the United States. Now, with the Trump administration seeking to reassert its influence in the region, that balancing act is more delicate than ever. Julia Galliano, Al Jazeera, Veracruz, Mexico.
Mexico's president say there's no risk for fans coming to the World Cup, despite violence erupting in the country following the killing of a major cartel boss. It's fueled doubts Mexico is capable of safely co-hosting sport's biggest event. Al Jazeera's David Strokes reports.
Guadalajara's Akron Stadium is set to host 2 FIFA World Cup playoff matches next month and 4 games during the main tournament in June. But the killing of Mexico's most wanted drug boss, El Mencho, has led to a wave of violence in the city and surrounding areas.
It puts people at risk, both those who live here and those who come from abroad. So it will be good for the government to handle it, to improve the situation. At the moment, it is very insecure.
With barely 100 days to go before the start of the World Cup, Mexico's federal and Jalisco state government has pledged that the cartel violence will not impact the tournament.
There is absolutely no intention by FIFA to withdraw any host city from Mexico. The 3 host cities remain, and actually, next Saturday at the Akron Stadium, FIFA will present the World Cup trophy when it visits the city.
Mexico has invested billions of dollars in this World Cup, which it's co-hosting with the United States and Canada. It will stage 10 games in 3 cities, Guadalajara, Monterrey and Mexico City, where the first game will be played on June the 11th. FIFA say they have confidence in the country's ability to host a safe tournament.
Mexico is a great country. Like every country in the world, it has problems. We don't live on the moon or on another planet. Bad things happen. That's why we have governments, that's why we have police, authorities who are going to guarantee order and security.
Despite the violence, Mexico's international friendly match against Iceland will go ahead on Wednesday in the city of Querétaro. And next month, Mexico is scheduled to play Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal at the newly renovated Azteca Stadium in Mexico City. Portugal's Football Federation says it's closely monitoring the situation, saying the safety of its players, coaching staff and fans is the priority. David Stokes, Al Jazeera.
Al Jazeera follows migrants and refugees attempting the perilous crossing into Spain. The journey is far more dangerous than social media suggests, with a heavily fortified 7-meter barbed wire fence monitored by cameras, heat sensors and drones. Al Jazeera's Nicholas Haig reports.
They've tried before. They failed. Still in Africa, just meters from Europe. They turned to pray. Home is Guinea in West Africa. They crossed jungles and deserts and territory controlled by Al-Qaeda-linked fighters. Now, they're in northern Morocco, Africa's land border with Europe.
I tried climbing the fence last night, but the border guards pointed their lasers, and so we ran away before the Moroccan police could catch us.
Still, they say they will try again. Outrunning patrols on both sides of the border, trying to scale a 7-meter-high barbed wire fence. But from every angle, cameras watch, heat sensors scan the ground, drones patrol the sky. A border not between countries, but between continents. Africa on one side, Europe on the other. For migrants and refugees, a boundary drawn long ago, an obstacle to a better life. Online, social media portrays the journey as easy. Some are posted by traffickers, designed to encourage young people to pay for the crossing. But the reality is different. Crossing the border is not just dangerous, it's become almost impossible, thanks largely to Moroccan authorities. At a nearby security post, a border guard says migrants are not welcome here or in Europe.
So we just saw about 20 migrants rounded up, taken onto a bus. Authorities here tell us that they're going to be sent as far away as possible from the Spanish border, and that's part of a deal between the Kingdom of Morocco and the European Union.
Morocco polices Europe's southern border with Africa. In return, Morocco receives financial aid and diplomatic support from the European Union during regional disputes. Among those deported, Suleiman, Abdullah, and Mohammed, teenagers fleeing poverty in Guinea. Ernest from Nigeria and injured Mustafa from Sudan, fleeing conflict. We later spoke to all of them. All say they will try again.
We're walking into Europe. We're in Morocco, but we're walking to Europe in what is the only land border between the two continents. And this is one of the most tightly guarded frontiers in the world. Countless migrants have died trying to make it across. For some, it's a simple formality. But from here, Europe looks like a fortress. This is Spain.
On the African continent. Nicholas Hawk, Al Jazeera, Ceuta, Spain.
Thanks, Dominique. This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's it to be to headline news for this Thursday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for rebroadcasts and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other.